Ron Fisk's unforgettable moment 13 years ago. Just the 6th time in World Series history that a game had ended with a sudden death homer. And until this October, it hadn't happened since. But then, Kirk Gibson electrified the nation Saturday night. And in Game 3, Mark McGwire brought the A's to life. Six times in 85 years, and then twice in 72 hours. Welcome to Game 4 of the 1988 World Series. And Game 4 will be played on a beautiful, breezy night at the Oakland Coliseum as we welcome you to our NBC broadcast. Hi, everybody. Bob Costas, joined soon by Marv Albert. First of all, the pitchers for the Dodgers. Tim Belcher, wild and ineffective in Game 1, gets another shot at it, opposed by 21-game winner Dave Stewart, who pitched 8 decent innings in the first game and came away with a no decision. Now, since last night, the Dodger lead in the series has diminished, but their injury list has grown. A short while ago, their team physician, Dr. Frank Jobe, addressed the media. He gave us the following report. It is very unlikely that Kirk Gibson will do anything but pinch hit for the duration of the series, no matter how long it goes. Mike Marshall, with the chronic back problem that flared up last night and forced him out of the game, won't start tonight. It's better than 50-50 that he will play tomorrow in Game 5. John Tudor, with the bad elbow, is finished for the series. And Dr. Jobe said, pending further examinations, it is possible that the elbow injury is career-threatening. Now, in the Dodger lineup tonight, you've got Danny Heap as the designated hitter, Mike Davis in right field, Mickey Hatcher in left, Franklin Stubbs at first. The A's lineup was stronger than the Dodgers to begin with. But without Gibson and Marshall, in fairness, pitching aside, and Dodger pitching is excellent, this Dodger lineup has to be one of the weakest ever to take the field for a World Series game. They have a total of 36 home runs, and that's with 9 hitters. Remember, this is a DH game. 6 fewer home runs than Jose Canseco of the A's alone. Speaking of Canseco, I'm about to find out how Gulliver felt in the land of the Brobdingnagians as I talk with Canseco and fellow basher Mark McGwire when we come back right after this. NBC. The A's on the brink of going down 3-0. Now believe that their comeback is underway. The stadium's still abuzz over this shot unloaded in the last of the ninth by Mark McGwire. And suddenly the series stands at 2-1. A little while ago, I talked to McGwire and fellow basher Jose Canseco, beginning with last night's hero.
You know, it's pretty exciting because, you know, game-winning home runs is always exciting, but here in the World Series, I pretty much know what Kirk Gibson was going through when he was running around the bases, and just for us to get a win. You know, if we were 0-3 or backs are severely against the wall, now it's 2-1, it's up for grabs.
How tense was it on the bench, Jose? Because you guys were very close to going down 0-3. Dodgers had the bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th inning.
I can remember that situation that happened in the 6th inning, bases were loaded, and I can remember speaking with Henderson. I know there was no odds. I said, well, let's try to minimize the run score production that they're going to have, and basically our pitchers did quite well. They got out of the inning without scoring a run, and from there on in, we knew that that was the turning point of the game. It came into the 9th inning. I came up, popped out to second base. McGwire came up, hit that home run, and basically everyone was ecstatic. We were all jumping around, going out there giving 4-hour matches because we knew that we had to win this 3rd game. We knew how difficult it would be to come back from a 3-game deficit.
You might want to call them a scrappy team because they just do the things you have to do to win. And their pitching staff might be underrated. You know, everybody looks at Oral Hershiser, but their bullpen's been outstanding. And it's not like everybody's looking at us saying, well, why aren't you hitting the ball? Well, they're not going to lay it on a tee for us. You know, they're working us in and out. You can get all the pitching reports you want, but it really doesn't help because they're not going to lay it on a tee for us.
You get another crack at Tim Belcher tonight.
Yeah, we got another crack at him. Basically, I've only seen him twice over there in L.A. He hit me once, and the other one I hit the grand slam. We have to win today. I think we have to capitalize on the sense that he's not going to come out there with a lot of confidence, knowing he only pitched 2 or 3 innings, give up a grand slam. We were hitting him quite well, just hitting him at people. So I think if we score in the early innings, he's going to have trouble.
We're a few minutes away from Game 4 as the Dodgers and A's reprise their matchup in the 1974 World Series. Now, since then, this is the 4th time Los Angeles has appeared in the Fall Classic. But it marks the return of the A's to the World Series for the first time in 14 years. 1974, in many ways, seems even longer ago than that. Remember it? It was a significant year in sports. Aaron passed Ruth, Ali shocked Foreman, and elsewhere, it was a year of political turmoil. The year-and-a-half-long Watergate scandal reached its climax with Richard Nixon becoming the first president to resign his office. In a bizarre story, Patty Hearst was kidnapped by the SLA. For the 3rd consecutive season, All in the Family was the #1 television show. In the movies, the box office king, Newman and Redford, in The Sting. And in sports, David Thompson of North Carolina State ended UCLA's 7-year reign along the way to taking the NCAA championship. Here in Oakland, the Snake, Kenny Stabler, led the late-lamented Oakland Raiders to the AFC West title. And for the 3rd consecutive year, Charlie Finley's Oakland A's were baseball's world champions. Remember them, folks? They were the swinging A's, mustaches, long hair, crazy uniforms, all kinds of gimmicks. Say what you want about Charles O. Finley. He was the architect of a team that won 5 divisional championships, 3 straight World Series. When we come back, Marv with Charlie O.
Tribute to the spirit of baseball. Brought to you by MCO.
Charlie O.
Well, Bob, once upon a time it was the Oakland Athletics of Charles O. Finley, despite all the controversy that swirled around Finley, the intramural squabbles, the battles with baseball commissioner Bowie Kuhn. This a team that won 5 straight division championships, a team that won 3 consecutive world championships. Yes, the A's of the early 70s were baseball's curiosity with their colorful uniforms, their white shoes, their ball girls, plus, of course, Charlie O., the team mascot, all products of the imagination of their owner, Charlie Finley.
You know, when I came into baseball in 1961, the visiting teams wore a prison gray uniform, and the home team wore an eggshell white with black shoes. And then my first year in baseball, I brought in the colorful uniform, Kelly green and gold, and white shoes, and I know that a couple of the owners looked at one another and said, gee, how did this fellow Charlie Finley get past us? So I think I rocked the boat too much for them. But the funny thing about it, Marv, is a very short time later, they were all wearing colorful uniforms.
Charlie, what changes would you like to see in the game today?
Well, the only change, Marv, that I'd like to see, as far as the balls and strikes are concerned, I'd like to see it go down to 3 balls and 3 strikes. Now, by going down to 3 balls, that'll help balance the offense with the defense. Back when professional baseball first started, they started out with 9 balls and 5 strikes, and they gradually went on down to, in 1888, they came down with 4 balls and 3 strikes, and it hasn't been changed, incidentally, in 100 years. So I think 3 and 3 would help the game tremendously.
And you still would like to see orange baseballs?
Oh, very definitely, Marv, because, you know, the pitchers are throwing that ball today 95, 100 miles an hour, and it enables, an orange ball would enable the hitter to see the ball much easier than a white ball coming out of a white uniform.
Charlie, despite the fact that some of your theories, such as the designated hitter, night baseball during All-Star and World Series games were adapted, do you feel you weren't taken seriously?
No, because, well, we've played a couple of exhibition games with the orange baseball, and I tell you, I don't like to say this, but the owners were against it because it was my idea. You know, Finley goes in here with this, gets the All-Star game, the World Series games played at night, colorful uniforms, white shoes, designated hitter, and I keep fighting for this and that. And hey, for Christ's sakes, guys, sit down. You know, quit rocking the boat.
Charlie, I'd like your capsule thoughts, quickie opinions on your good friend, one-time Commissioner Bowie Kuhn.
I have no admiration, no respect for Bowie Kuhn. I think he's about the worst thing that ever happened to baseball.
And Bowie Kuhn, it should be pointed out, was not exactly a great fan of Charlie Finley. Now, let's see, 3 balls constituting a walk, the designated pinch runner. And how about the old orange baseballs? Nice hands, Bob.
You know, some of his ideas were good ones. DH, I guess, has some merit, and certainly night games and the All-Star game and the World Series makes sense. But remember what happened to the designated runner, Herb Washington?
Yes.
Mike Marshall of the Dodgers picked him off in '74, and the orange baseball will never make it, Marvelous.
But I would like to hold on to these.
Time for us to make it over to the PA man, Roy Steele, for the introduction of the national anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please rise and join in the singing.
A couple of things really jump out at you in this World Series. 13 straight times now the home team has won. That's more than a coincidence. And we've had 2 ninth-inning dramatic game-winning home runs by Gibson and by McGuire. I mean, we're off and running.
We really haven't had that sustained attack. Most of the runs scored are by home runs, either by the Dodgers or by the Oakland A's. But, you know, we're starting with the second time around now, and I think this is the game where everybody starts to settle in. I mean, the ticket situation's out, all your friends are here, and let's play baseball. And as far as the pitchers are concerned, you only need to look at Don Larson. 1956, got knocked out in the second game, only went an inning and 2/3, came back and pitched a perfect game.
How well I remember it. But what would a hitter know now? Let's say, what do the Oakland A's know that they didn't know from a scouting report about Tim Belcher?
Absolutely zero, because they really didn't see the Tim Belcher that they were told about because he was so wild and didn't stick around that much. They're going to have to probe again, but they're more comfortable, and Belcher will be more comfortable.
Now, on the other side, Dave Stewart, the former Dodger, well scouted, but now they find out that he throws a forkball and that it is a dandy. They saw him for 8 innings. Have the Dodger hitters found out anything?
Well, if they start looking for it, it'll work in Dave Stewart's favor. It's always a catch-22, I think, because once that game starts, hey, let's go at him.
And that's the battle cry. Let's go at him, and we'll do just that right after this.
A tough combination. McGuire, better than average fielder. Steinbach behind.